You often hear people speak of the idea of trials and tribulations, but what exactly are people talking about when they are mentioning trials or tribulations, when they are talking about going through trials and tribulations? We're going to just focus for a moment on this idea of trials. When you think about trials, many times people think about the law. Sometimes people think about trials with respect to religion. And then sometimes people think about trials with respect to science. And so we're going to just touch on what it means to go through a trial with respect to religion or with respect to spirituality. And so before we touch on what this means to go through a trial in terms of a spiritual experience, let's just look at the construct of trial. A trial is basically looking at someone's proficiency or their knowledge related to something. It's basically a test. It's some sort of situation that after the fact, it will reveal something about the strength or the quality of the person or the thing. And it comes about by putting the thing or the person under a certain amount of stress or strain. And you can think about gold, you can think about silver, you can think about diamonds in order to bring out the true essence of a diamond or gold or silver. You put them through stress and strain in order to reveal what is underneath. And the same thing takes place with respect to a trial. And so it's basically a test. And so it's going to measure the quality of something. With respect to a person, it's going to measure the quality of a person, their ability to perform in certain situations. And another thing that a test does is it helps to determine the reliability of something or someone. Let's quickly look at this construct of trial in Strong's Concordance related to Scripture. And what it indicates here is the phonetic spelling is pira. But what it means is a trial or an experiment to attempt something. An experimentation. That's what a trial is. And so when someone is going through a trial, they are basically going through what would be considered some form of experimentation. They are going through some form of an attempt at something. They are going through some form of testing of something. And as this process is taking place, they are learning by this experience. Either they are learning by the experience, an onlooker is learning by the experience, an experimenter is learning by the experience of going through this trial process. And so many people will say they are going through trials. And when they are going through trials, they are going through a form of experimentation. Now, in terms of scripture, this word trial is rooted in this other word of paran. And this word, this base word, means through the idea of piercing. And so this idea of testing, experimentation, attempting, assaying is related to this idea of piercing. Whenever one is faced with a test, whether it's in written form or some other form, the question is whether the person is prepared to take the test. It doesn't matter what test a person is getting ready to take. Preparation is key in terms of passing a test or doing well on a test. And so one of the questions one must entertain when they are preparing for a test is how prepared are they and what do they need to do in addition to what they have already done to situate themselves to do well on the test or to pass the test. And so some of the questions that people might want to ask themselves about any upcoming test, whether you're talking about a pen and paper test or some other type of test, is are you prepared for the test? Are you mentally prepared for the test? Are you physically prepared for the test? Are you spiritually prepared for the test? Are you prepared for the trial that is coming? Do you have all of the information that you need in order to answer all of the questions? Do you have all of the resources that you need in order to approach whatever trial presents itself? The question is, are you prepared? Whether you are taking the MCAT, the LSAT, the SAT, it doesn't matter. Are you prepared mentally, physically, and spiritually? Now that we've addressed trial, we will follow up with the word tribulation. Remember, knowledge is power. Take care. See you soon.